Hey. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. All right. You want to open up the show, E, or you want me to take care of the ropes?
Can you do the normal opening?
Yes. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Surfside Recovery Podcast. We got selfies going on here. We got a very special guest. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. If you're not excited, you should be excited. I'm also not on my phone like the rest of the people that are in this podcast episode.
You always start. The problem is you always start when nobody's ready. Keep going. We're good.
That's it. That's the opening. So I actually also want to. All right. So we'll introduce Matt, right? Matt. Because do I say his last name? I don't know.
Sure. Blomquist.
Matt Blomquist from Mountainside Treatment Center in Connecticut somewhere. It's one of the few treatment centers I actually haven't been to, but that's another story. Nice. So I think
real nice.
I think the way we should start this podcast is by giving Matt shirt a rating, because that is an awesome shirt that he's rocking out with today.
I got a lot of critics from it earlier.
Do you listen to our podcast?
Yeah.
You do? So
yeah.
Do you know about the shirt thing?
No, I don't know that.
So you don't listen to our podcast?
Yeah.
I usually listen to the brief ones that you show the videos of. That's what I see.
Oh, you just listen to the mini.
Yeah, I don't actually watch
snippets.
the whole. I might watch this one though because there's a good guest.
So in between our last recording, Brian sent me
that you didn't respond to, by the way.
I was wrong. Brian was right. That was actually the first time I was ever wrong.
Right. Yes.
Just on record.
Okay.
I can think of a lot of other times that you were wrong. Actually,
so Brian sent me the actual video snippet of him talking about his, what was it?
Summary type
shirt. It was not a Hawaiian shirt. So fine, we can go back. So basically,
what would you classify my shirt as then?
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, it's just a cool shirt. I wouldn't really classify it as anything.
So Brian, in the summer, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, was going to wear a summary type shirt, and people were supposed to rate his shirt.
Yeah.
Inspiration from Tosh.0, if you've ever seen the show.
Oh, yeah.
Tosh.0 used to do stuff like that. Yeah. Sweaters, whatever.
So, I just want to type you this.
So what happened is Ian was giving me low ratings because they weren't Hawaiian shirts, and that's not actually what the criteria was.
Under the impression of, I thought we were doing a Hawaiian shirts, not summary shirt.
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah. Well, if anybody needs to be, I think today, critiqued for their shirt, it's probably Ian because it's pretty basic. Although it does have Surfside on it, but there's no special flair to it. There's nothing exciting going on.
Flair.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not a flare kind of guy.
I do like those V-neck shirts. Those shirts fit me extremely well.
I had my flare on at the Recovery 360 conference that we were at.
Yeah, in the overalls.
Suspenders.
The suspenders. Oh, yeah.
Overalls.
It's a staple every conference you go to. You see Ian with the overalls.
Suspenders. I like suspenders.
We went out to dinner.
Staff dinner.
Was it last week? And he came in with the suspenders on, too. I knew it was coming, too. It fits you.
I like suspenders.
I know you do. And I like you in suspenders.
Thanks.
Just like a firefighter.
It's a good look. It's definitely a good look.
Put it on a calendar.
You know what? There's... Let me...
Good.
The reason I like suspenders is I feel like when you are dressing to that level of dress, jackets, ties, things like that, I feel like I can wear suspenders and I don't have to wear a jacket. I feel like they're almost interchangeable. I know they're really like not, and there would be times where I would absolutely wear a jacket because I would need a jacket. But I feel like I can wear suspenders and not have to wear a jacket.
I just feel like it fits right into the whole fish theme with you.
Nothing to do with fish.
It just looks like you could be at a fish concert wearing your...
Get out of here.
It's just because it's him in the suspenders. That's like a very old school thing to wear, like very like 1930s, 1940s suspenders.
Classy.
Yeah, very classy.
Especially because they're not clip-on.
They're real suspenders.
They call them something else though besides suspenders when they have the buttons, don't they?
On the inside?
Is it braces maybe? Is it there's a name for it that I'm forgetting.
But it's one thing that I don't wear, so I can't tell you.
So anyway, back to Brian's summary of his shirt, and we'll rate that shirt. Brian's, I'll give it a 7.
Respectable score.
Yeah, it's white. I like it. It's white and black. It has like some flags and stuff.
Nautical.
Yeah, it's a little nautical.
Very nautical. Yeah.
Very beachy.
Sure.
I mean, Matt looks like he's going to a Guns N' Roses concert.
I mean, it's just I'm cutting edge, and I come out with a lot of new stuff that people really haven't seen before. This is fresh out. I will say it's a Forever 21 shirt.
Is it? Okay.
Is it Forever 21?
Yeah, and I never knew they actually made men's clothes.
Did Dave McGinnis get you that?
No, actually, I kind of branched out on my own and got my own clothes this time.
Got it.
Yeah, didn't take his recommendation on this one.
I'll give Matt's shirt a 6.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
6.
I would agree with that.
Okay.
6.25.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Yeah, that's a
fair.
solid score. It's a solid score.
All right.
So Matt was down here on a tour of the facility today, and he so graciously accepted our offer to. Is that how it went? Did you ask him, or did you ask to come on the show?
There was really never any ask. It was more so just kind of
come over. We're doing a podcast.
No, there was
12:15. You're coming over, and you're going to be on the podcast.
We're going to do the podcast at 12:15. You're here. It'd be great to have you on. Can you double check with your boss?
Which all happened.
And make sure that you can come, and his boss Sarah, who probably will not watch this, but if she is, hi Sarah. Who's also a CrossFitter. You would like her, Brian.
Oh yeah, nice.
She graciously said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
I actually don't know what she said.
something along those lines. Something along those lines.
Like, yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't say anything dumb about Mountainside. That's probably what she said.
Accurate. But I was never really told you're coming over at 12:15. You're doing a podcast. It's more so like I showed up, did the tour, and Ian said, "Come over to my house. You're going to do the podcast."
Really, Candace was doing the tour.
Yes.
The tour was more for Candace.
Yeah.
So Candace is just got married, which is super cool.
Mazel tov.
Yeah, super, super happy for her. She works in Mountainside. She was coming down to just check out the facility. So if she is trying to refer people, she can say that she's actually seen it.
Yeah. Very happy. She was very happy with it on her ride back. Yep. Good. She loved it.
Cool. Happy to hear that. So we were talking about something before the podcast that we said we wanted to get to. I don't remember what it is.
I do remember what that was.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about Mountainside?
Yeah,
for people
sure.
Who don't
absolutely. So we're full.
And how did you get involved working at Mountainside?
Yeah, so it's a long story. So I'm an alumni of Mountainside, 2010, 2011.
You don't look like you have ever abused drugs.
Never have. I just went because I needed friends.
Just went to rehab for fun?
Yeah, well, it's the cool thing to do at the time. I mean, I take that as a compliment that I don't look as a person who used drugs, but a lot of people, I think, in recovery don't. A lot of people that you meet.
Ian definitely does.
Yeah. I mean, acid, all sorts of LSD.
Yeah, that was a problem.
See that
all right, the story.
Anyway, I apologize.
It's okay.
So I'm an alumni of Mountainside. I went there in about 2010, 2011.
And 11?
Beginning of 2011. Or no, end of 2010, beginning of 2011.
Got it.
And I stayed there for a while. I ended up staying for like 2 months. I did their longer term program. And then 5-6 years later, I had an opportunity to come back and be able to work in the discharge planning unit. And our continuing care team, we help place clients for whatever their clinical recommendation is for aftercare. We do help set them up with therapists, private practice. We do outpatient sober living, stuff like you guys, obviously. And we help have get our clients set up with a plan before they discharge. So Mountainside, we've obviously grown a lot over the years. Since I was there, it was just a primary residential substance abuse treatment center. And now we've grown to a full detox. We do primary residential treatment for substance abuse and secondary mental health. We do men's and women's extended care. We do outpatient services, 2 of which in Connecticut, 2 are in New York. We offer recovery coaching in New York City. So we've grown a lot in like the last 10 years to really offer a full continuum.
What do you think is one of the most unique things about Mountainside?
Well, everything. We're just better.
But in a day that there's like a lot of treatment centers and a lot of options.
Totally.
What do you think makes?
Well, what I always say
really
when I'm going to places and I'm presenting on Mountainside and like who we are and what makes us different, I spend briefly talking about our clinical, because obviously that's important to a lot of the people that you meet with. that we, our standard for clinical, our caseload maxes for our clinicians are very small. It's capped at 5 now. We used to be at 6 pretty recently, and then we just switched to 5.
It's really small.
So that's way different than a lot of the industry standard.
Yeah.
And then, we're doing 3 individual sessions a week with our clients, which I think is probably on average about 1. So just in terms of the clinical, that piece is great. But what we've done for years that, now it's kind of the norm for everyone to do is to offer yoga, to offer acupuncture and all that stuff. We were doing that 10 years ago when no one really even knew what that was. And so that carries over into the staff that offer it. Is that bothering you?
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's
well, it's in my face the whole time. I didn't know if I could take it out, but
yeah, we should have a new studio here
soon.
Very, very soon.
Hopefully.
After I leave, the studio will be here.
Well,
so that back. And then the holistic stuff that we do. So we're on the side, obviously, in Mountainside, on a huge mountain. Is this going to bother you the whole set?
Fix it. Good. There we go.
All right, I feel good. I feel like I'm in like the
this
forest.
One was like really into your face.
It's been poking me the whole time. I've been telling you to get out of my face. Yeah. So the experiential holistic stuff that we do adventure-based count. We have we're kind of broken down into 3 parts. We have clinical, we have adventure-based counseling, and we have mind, body, spirit. The adventure-based counseling being, we're up on the side of a mountain. We do a ropes course. We do sweat lodges. We do camping trips. We do low and high ropes, challenge areas. So there's a lot of experiential hands-on stuff that clients get to do, in addition to the acupuncture, the yoga, the qigong, the meditation, and Reiki, all that stuff that we've been doing for a long, long time before I think it was really the norm to do.
Yeah, it's true.
That on top of with the clinical.
I think in a lot of places say they do it versus actually doing it.
Yeah, totally. When I take people on tours up to Mountainside, I take them by our acupuncture studio. And when I tell people we have groups like every single day, like I show them our schedule. It's outside of the acupuncture studio, and there's groups, multiple times every single day. And it's, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of places that say they do. And
I think one of the great things about Mountainside is that you feel like you're in treatment. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like a random office in like a strip mall or anything like that. It's like an actual treatment center.
It's on like a property.
It's on a property.
Yeah, I've never been up there.
It literally is on the side of the mountain. It's beautiful. It's like a, because I think about like, when I refer somebody to a place, obviously there's multiple facets of why I would recommend something specific, obviously cost, insurance, clinical needs, getting somebody to a specific area and really, even when you're driving to Mountainside, you're going somewhere. Mm-hmm. It's not like, you're on a highway and then you just are off a highway.
Absolutely. Yeah. I tell people campus, and then when you get up there and see it, like it's a campus.
Yeah, very much,
you walk. It's so big, and there's so much. A huge piece I think that's so nice about it is that you're just not stuck in one place. You're not just getting clinical for 8 hours in one building or one office space.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than that, in my opinion, as a resident.
Unfortunately, that's become the norm, right? Is that you go to a quote unquote treatment center, and it's really like a place in a strip mall, and you live at a house 30 minutes away, and that's fine for like an aftercare setting, but for primary treatment, I don't buy that.
There's so much more to it.
For aftercare, I think that's fine, but for primary treatment, we need something more. So cool.
So that's our deal, Ian. Thank you.
I want to try out that sweat lodge.
Yeah.
So is it kind of like a sauna or a steam room? Is that kind of
like a teepee? If you think of like, where like Indians would have a teepee and you just go in, you put a bunch of really hot rocks and it gets really hot inside the teepee and they have like a spiritual experience in there. It's pretty cool.
I talked with Colin about building one out at the camp.
Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So do they go in there like after they're done detox? Is that like an extended care part? Like where does that like enter into the program?
That is the detox.
Yeah.
Well, I detoxed at a sauna in Philly one time.
Oh, that's really?
Crazy.
Yeah, it was horrible. Yeah. Come on, Charlie.
Charlie, get out of here.
Get out of there.
To answer Ian's question, or to answer your question, to Ian's point, that is part of our detoxes. We'll put you into the sweat lodge.
Really?
No. So that's when.
So we've got the risk of somebody passing out if you did that.
Yeah,
I almost keeled over a couple times doing that.
So that's in the residential program. So they'll do our detox first, or sometimes folks will detox elsewhere and come to us for residential. And there has to be all types of clearance and stuff just to make sure you're physically able to do that. But it's once you've been over the residential, and it's pretty cool. They sweat it out in there.
How could how would somebody be able to get a hold of Mountainside?
They can call me. They can call our admissions line. Whatever's easy. I typically, and as Ian working with me a lot, like I talk with families a lot. That's now shifting out of direct care and doing more outreach, which I do now. That's what I love. I love being able to do that, to talk to families and be able to help them through that process. So my phone number is 603-571-5055 and 24/7.
And what's the website for Mountainside?
www.mountainside.com.
Pretty plain and simple.
Easy
to find.
Yeah.
Easy to find.
I remember there was going to be a treatment center in New Jersey. They were calling themselves Mountainside for a little while.
I've heard of that. Yeah. I don't believe it's any longer, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not any longer. I'm glad that got squared away. So prior, we were talking about you not drinking coffee.
Oh, yes.
So
that's what it was.
So I got this thing recently.
I'm gonna get it.
It's scary. It's
not scary. It's
I was staring at it. I felt like there was going to be some like crazy.
So it's called a tiger keg. And I found it online, and Brian's going to show it. So this is the tiger keg. It holds 40 to 48 ounces of coffee in here. This is a little nitrous canister, and then this is a tap, and you can take your cold brew coffee and turn it into nitro brew.
It just looks dangerous. It looks like coffee should be coming out of that thing.
So it's fantastic. So what I've recently learned is, so cold brew coffee is like 60% less acidic, give or take 40 to 60%. And then when you add the nitrous to the coffee, it makes it even less. So this coffee is like super creamy and smooth and very palatable, but it's also not bitey like some coffee.
Sure.
So
a lot of people drink it black and don't put sugar. I drink coffee black anyway, but they don't.
That's how I always used to have
sugar,
straight black.
So the nitrous canister is what actually makes it smoother?
That's what helps to make it smoother and also pulls out some of the bite. So this specific coffee I got at a local place. They have great smoothies and stuff because I haven't gotten my equipment to make my own cold brew yet. It's on the way. And their coffee's very, like we were talking about that earlier. It's like really, really, really strong, almost like aggressive. But making it with the nitro brew, it has cut a lot of that aggressive. So anyway, you don't drink coffee. Why?
Yeah, so I don't anymore. At least for years I did, and I love coffee. Growing up with my dad, I'd have it. Before we'd get up for work together, he'd get up for work, I'd get up for school, and I'd probably have 2, maybe 3 cups with him in the morning. And it's young, 13, 14. So I drank coffee since I was super young, and then getting sober, everyone drinks coffee. You're sucking it down in meetings or whatever.
You wonder why you can't sleep at night. You're like, I just drank 7 cups of coffee at the 8 o'clock meeting.
And smoked a pack of cigarettes.
But coffee doesn't do anything to me.
Yeah. So,
why do I feel like you're talking to me on that one?
He was looking right at you when he said it. That's probably why. I don't think I actually ever did have an issue sleeping. I could drink it late and go to sleep, but
but now he also doesn't drink coffee anymore. So
there's a reason for it. So I don't know. Maybe probably 2 years ago, around then, right around maybe 3 years sober, I had, and I think I just started developing some mild anxiety, and I just felt things like that contributed to it. I don't think it was really any specific thing that gave me anxiety. It was just I noticed specific things that would maybe contribute to it a little bit, and coffee was one of those things that it was just like a lot of sweets too for me.
Right.
If I do a lot of sugar, a lot of stuff like that, and I just felt it would just get me, really, I think, anxious. And I love coffee. It was kind of, a downfall for me because I love drinking coffee.
Yeah, so do I.
Love the taste of it. I love everything about it. Waking up in the morning, having a cup. But it just, I don't know, it made me feel uncomfortable. And I just felt that it added to my anxiety, and I felt that it would be good if I cut it out.
Did you have any sort of like weaning down process, or did you just quit coffee cold turkey? What about caffeine? Did you have like bad caffeine headaches and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did for a little bit. Yeah, of course. And now I don't even really drink. I think it's overall helped my overall health and well-being.
Oh, I'm sure.
To be honest with you, because I don't drink caffeinated Coke. I don't drink caffeinated anything. And, for sure, for the first little bit, like it, definitely affected me or whatever. But I just, I felt the cons of coming off of coffee were, it was better for me to come off of it than it was to stay on it. So, That's my experience with it.
Yeah, I don't really see myself giving up coffee at any point in the near future. Obviously, the person who's buying cold brew equipment is not getting off it anytime soon.
No, but I mean, I have to be really mindful. Like this cup I've been drinking for probably, what time did you get here? 11:30.
11. Yeah, I got here like 11:30.
So I've been drinking. I topped it off a little bit, but I've been drinking this for over an hour and a half. I had a cup this morning. I won't be able to have any more today.
Mm-hmm. Why? Just because it'll keep you up, or
I'll get anxiety.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, yeah. So I know I'm not alone with that.
No, a lot of people. No, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. I think that there's this thing that happens in recovery where people. It's obnoxious because people say that coffee isn't a problem. It doesn't keep me up at night, yet they report sleep issues and they're drinking coffee at 8, 9 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. We know for a fact that on a molecular level,
there's an issue going on.
We know for a fact that caffeine, makes the body a little bit more antsy and jittery. So even if it's not it's from the coffee, it still can potentially be from the coffee. My wife was telling me the other day she had a cold brew at 2 in the afternoon and was up till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, my girlfriend doesn't drink any coffee after the morning. As soon as it starts in the afternoon, she won't drink it because it keeps her up too. But one thing though, I think it used to piss me off when I was in rehab and these kids were like, "Oh, the meds they're not giving me, it's not working. I haven't been able to sleep." It's like, dude, you're detoxing from heroin. Of course you're not gonna be able to sleep right. What do you expect to happen? This is what you want to get high. This is what happens. There's no in between. You just got to suck it up. I think a lot of times people who are newly sober, it's a combination of Monsters, Red Bulls, coffee, and the fact that you've only been off drugs for 3 months is why you can't sleep.
Yeah. I didn't sleep for years in early sobriety, and there's a lot of this stuff that we just have to normalize, and we don't necessarily need to medicate people for over and over. We just need to normalize. One of the things at Surfside is for a long time we didn't allow coffee after 6 o'clock.
I hated that.
A lot of people hated that.
Do you allow it now?
I hated that.
So. We do, and I don't agree with it.
Well, they're going to get it at meetings, right?
Well, no.
That was the thing. We couldn't.
We wouldn't.
When I lived in the house, you couldn't have it.
We wouldn't. And, and I am still an avid proponent of it. And we just redid the resident handbook, and there was a big X on, whoa, we're falling apart here.
Yeah.
Charlie, get out.
Charlie got me.
It's Charlie's fault. And, there was a big X to take it out, and I wouldn't take it out. I reworded it, and now it's says we strongly advise against caffeine after 6 o'clock.
That's what it is now?
Well, what was happening is the recovery specialists don't want to fight with the residents about drinking coffee. And I get it. It is kind of obnoxious for the 1 or 2 residents that are drinking coffee at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock at night. But what also is a problem is then, late at night, there are certain residents that don't sleep, and then they're taking their sleep meds and they still can't sleep, and then they're complaining that they can't sleep, and then the house managers, have to potentially deal with it, and I think that's I think it's directly correlated. My program director, so my program director, what he would prefer to do is deal with the 1 or 2 residents who abuse it. He'd rather work on that behavior with them,
and so, everyone who's trying to drink coffee
versus guys who it's not an issue for it, and I get that.
Well, for me, I'm telling you, it's been another thing in my sobriety for me that I don't have to wake up in the morning and have to do another thing. It didn't start out as that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have to, I didn't think I want to get off. Stop drinking coffee because I don't want it to be another vice for me kind of thing. It just was kind of a byproduct of that where, obviously not doing drugs and alcohol anymore. I don't have to wake up in the morning and think about man, where am I going to get my next drug? Or whatever. And for me, and coffee in the morning is so many people, whether you're sober or not, is like, I have to have a cup of coffee to function. I have to have a coffee. It's the first thing I have to do in the morning. Mm-hmm. Same thing with smoking a cigarette or whatever it is. And like, I don't have to do that anymore.
And I think, and that really shows like, I think where somebody's at in their recovery. Like, Bill Wilson talked about emotional sobriety. There's an article out there that you can look up, and it's really good. And it's kind of like he talks about taking recovery to the next level. And, when you start to like look at your life and say like, okay, these things, whatever they are, aren't working for me, and then kind of like eliminate them. Yeah. I remember being, I think I was like a year and a half sober, and I was getting like this like crippling anxiety, like crippling. Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to my sponsor and been like, dude, I think I need to see a psychiatrist. I think I might need to go back on meds. And there was a time early in recovery I was on psych meds and appropriately weaned off of them. And I was like, I really, like, I can't function. This is really bad. And, we were talking and he said something about, are you drinking a lot of caffeine? And I was like, well, I don't really drink much coffee, but I drink some green tea. He's like, how much? And I didn't put it together, but I was drinking about a gallon of green tea that had around 20 green tea bags in it per day.
So you were making it?
I was making it.
You're probably peeing every like 5 minutes.
I mean, I still pee every 5 minutes, but I was literally drinking like 20 bags, like green tea bags a day of green tea.
And there's a lot of caffeine in tea too, right? Like more so than coffee.
Yeah, that'd be like drinking 20 cups of coffee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was like no wonder I had this anxiety. But I was like, it was the summer, and it was like iced green tea, and it was like cool and refreshing, and it tasted good. And I'm just like chugging this out of a gallon.
And you wonder why you're experiencing anxiety all throughout.
And I want to put a bullet in my head, and I can't talk to people because I'm so anxious. But like I love this tea, and I didn't. Like I really didn't put it together.
Didn't even cross your mind.
So I eliminated the green tea, and like the anxiety went away. That's funny. And then there was even a time like a couple years ago where like the coffee intake kind of crept back in, and I was getting like these migraines from too much. Mm-hmm. And my friend Sam, she said, I mentioned it to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I used to get like
from being over-caffeinated,
migraines from being over-caffeinated.
Over-caffeinated. Yeah. I've done that before a couple times. Yeah. Not good.
So it's, I think lesson learned, just be mindful, if you're in early recovery and you're getting anxiety, like, look at, like, take a holistic approach and, look at what you're doing, look at, what your intake looks like, right? You can't put water and gas in your gas tank in your car. The car won't run efficiently. Yeah. You can't put diesel in a gasoline engine. You can't put gasoline in a diesel engine. You gotta, like, fuel it appropriately. And I think, we don't necessarily, especially in early recovery, we don't necessarily link how we feel to food, and drinks and energy drinks and things like that.
For me, it's funny. For me, I've come to, I've come to understand, obviously, in my time in sobriety and being sober, or whatever, that like I can't do drugs and alcohol and safety, and like I've come to terms with that, and I'm okay with it. Mm-hmm. And I go through my life perfectly happy with that. And, now it's just, I understand. It took me a while, I think, but now I understand too that if there's just one more thing for me, that's just not, adding coffee into the mix for me or whatever, whatever. And it's individualized, whatever. It works for some people, it doesn't work for others, whatever. Yeah. And for me, it's just, I understand today that it's one thing that I can't, do, and it's going to make me feel some type of way that I don't like. And
absolutely. All right.
That's it? All right, cool.
If you're struggling, if you're looking for help, get a hold of us, give us a ring, get on the website. All that stuff is linked below. Phone number 609-709-4205. If you have any comments or questions or topic suggestions, I know we do have one on deck.
We do. For my mother,
on deck. So we'll get to that at some point. Please don't hesitate to let us know, and share, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks
for having me.